Hey, I'm Ken. Happy Wednesday night. Welcome to Stock Market Unfiltered, where we take a candid look, funny, at the stock market. Try to be educational and somewhat entertaining if we can. But today, it's all about FRC, First Republic Bank in California. You remember that's the one that we had five banks that put in $5 billion, two more banks that put two and a half, and that was a total of $10 billion, and then four banks that put in $5 billion apiece for a total of 20. And I was talking about the earnings were pretty decent, but their deposit outflow, and I talked about this on my channel. It was $104, and I said, but that included the $30 billion that the 11 banks put in. So really, it was only $74 billion, and they were expecting like $145 billion in deposits. So $70 billion difference. They finally figured that out. So it took the stock down 60% yesterday, and today it was down 30%. Today it's all the way down to $5.60 in after hours. As a matter of fact, today it was halted 4 times during the session for a limit up, limit down, which was probably limit down in this case. So this is going to be my symbol for FRC. Yeah, I know. I usually use this for the death cross for Prudential, but today I'm using that. You know what was going on with FRC? What's going on is just money is just being thrown away. It's just throwing it away. It's going into tubes, and you know what they want to do? They want all these other banks that put in $30 billion. They want to show up some more, maybe buy their assets at a premium. Why would anybody do that? And their reasoning, this is FRC's reason, is that it would be better off for the banks to save us instead of the FDIC taking over, which would be under receivership, because they said the banks are going to have to pay out anyway if it goes into the receivership, and the FDIC is going to have to pay the money to insure all the deposits for FRC. That's those that have $250,000 and less. And the government's not inclined to bail them out. You know, that takes an act of Congress. Actually, if you do something other than what the FDIC does, which insures $250,000, that's good for Congress. You can't just do it. So the governments, the feds, and all these banks are trying to get together, come up with a plan. But why would you buy assets at a premium? Let's do this for example to keep it real simple. If I borrowed something that cost $100, but now I'm having problems, but I want you to give me $150 for that $100. And that way they paid the $100 off, and you get an extra 50. So, you know, you can multiply it by millions, 10 million in investments, and it's worth 10 million, you give me 15 million. Come on, who's going to do that? Let it go under receivership, and it'll be a FDIC problem, and that'll be the end of it. Because this is not a bank that's going to cause everything to go down, but that's what happened today, believe it or not. The stock market was down 228 points. NASDAQ was plus 55, thanks to Microsoft. And the S&P was down 15. So that's my take on FRC. You know, I don't blame the banks. I wouldn't put any more money in it either. Just think those people, there's $30 billion of uninsured assets. So if it goes in a receivership, they may not get that money. I'm just saying. It's probably going to go into receivership, so don't be surprised if you see another bank failure. I'm expecting it. Don't know for sure. That seems like where we're headed to. So, but then the one I own, TFC, it's 36.60. Where it ended up today. So it just had a rough go. All the banks, regional banks, big banks have been kind of suffering through all this today. And there's not a whole lot you can do. You got to go through it. And it's like Citigroup. That's a large bank, not a regional bank, but it was affected by all this PRC or FRC news. It was down $1.04, down to 46.86, and after hours it's down 3 cents. So anyway, that's FRC. So now let's get to the earnings. We talked about 3M having earnings. This is all yesterday, remember. Yesterday, they reported before the market opened, and Google and Microsoft reported after the market yesterday. So for 3M, their earnings per share was $1.97 versus $1.60. That's going to be plus 37 cents. I'm going to have to just call out numbers because I know that's kind of boring, but I understand what I may do with 3M. Anyway, EPS $1.97 versus $1.06. So it's a 37-cent beat. The revenues year over year, $8.3 billion versus $7.51 billion, which was a lot better. But you know that was also, that $8.3 billion was 9% less year over year compared to last year. And they're also laying off 6,000 people. This is 3M we're talking about. 6,000 people, and that's the result. It's going to hopefully save them $700, $900 million. But the thing about this stock that we talked about, you know, the lawsuits, they hopefully may come up in sometime in June. Maybe they'll get that solved. I don't know. It could, you know, the lawsuit, it could be a $10 to $20 billion risk. That's what they're thinking. And the analysts say they see it hard to see a meaningful recovery soon with the lawsuit that's still looming. And that was funny because today I was watching, I think it was Fast Money, where they do the last trade. And one of the people on that show picked 3M. There's a lady on the show. She said she would be interested in it because of she was talking about the dividend yield, which I talk about. It's $1.50. It's 5.75%. Right now, it's $102.92. What it closed at, and after hours, it's up 18 cents to $103.10. But she said that if you can stomach the risk of the lawsuit, it's a good stock, probably a good time to get in. And I'm thinking the same thing, but I haven't bought it yet. I started to buy some today, but I didn't buy it, and we'll see what tomorrow brings. So that's what's going on with 3M. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. I'm trying to get through it. So you guys won't bore you with a bunch of numbers. I hated that in school, remember? You take a math class and just all these equations. You had to go up on the board and write equations on and on and on. It made me go to sleep. So if you guys go to sleep now, I don't blame you. I tell you, Ken saw a bunch of numbers. But we said we would talk about 3M, Google, and Microsoft, and Meta, which reported today. So far, between Google, Microsoft, and Meta, we're batting 3 for 3. Google's EPS was $1.17. They don't have anything to really compare it with. But their revenue was $69.79 billion versus $68.95 billion. So that was good. Their Cloud 9, you know, the Cloud 9 thing they talk about, not Delta Cloud and Delta 9. We're talking about Cloud 9. Artificial intelligence stuff. Their Cloud 9 revenue was $7.45 billion versus $7.49 billion. So right in line, no big deal. But they were happy with the YouTube revenue, which, you know, they get through search engines and things like that. It was $6.7 billion versus $6.6 billion. And Google also announced a $70 billion buyback. And after hours yesterday, it was actually up, but today it was roughly, I'll tell you in just a second here, if I can get the company pulled up here. They were up yesterday, but today they finished the day at $104.45. And after hours it's down 10 cents. They got all the way up to $107.02 today after their earnings from yesterday, and it was up yesterday and after hours. But they sort of, but still, it's taking into account, it only lost 16 cents a day, and I don't really count after hours down 10 cents. No big deal. So, but and as a disclosure, I own Google, and the next company we get ready to talk about, Microsoft, I own that too. So when it comes to Microsoft, it's the exact opposite of FRC. I get to bring this back on because I own that company. Payday for Microsoft. Thank you, Microsoft. Why? Yeah. Microsoft's earnings per share were $2.45 versus, let's see, $2.23. So they beat it by 22 cents. Their revenue was $52.86 billion versus 51.202. So they just beat all the way around. So what really got them going? AI. Yeah, I'm telling you, this AI stuff is here to stay. And Google and Microsoft and Amazon are at the forefront of it. And the beneficiary of that, NVIDIA, remember, with them Taiwan semiconductor chips they put in their NVIDIA graphics card to take to run this AI. Yeah. But anyway, Microsoft, they had this, what they call Azure cloud servers. The revenue growth was 27% versus 27.2. That's fine. But in the call, one of the CEO was optimistic about the potential in AI revenue. They're going to continue to invest money in AI/ChatGPT. And they all like that. That stock was up $19.95 today. That's plus 7.24%. So outstanding quarter by Microsoft. And after hours, it's up 53 cents to $295.90. So thank you, Microsoft, because I own that stock. And I appreciate that $20 move. Thank you. Oh, now Meta is Facebook. They don't really have a comparison, but earnings per share were $2.20. Very good for Meta. And their revenue, $28.65 billion versus $27.6 billion. And their subscribers, daily subscribers, the people who use Facebook, were up. And then after hours, I don't own Facebook, but I wish I did today. It's up 11%, $24.31 up on Meta. So outstanding results from Meta. So right now we're free for free with 3M, Google, and Microsoft, with the 4 big tech companies. Or actually, they take away 3M. We're free for free counting Google, Microsoft, and Meta. So now, tomorrow we have Amazon tomorrow night. So hopefully we'll continue that. And I'd like to see that up $20. I hope it don't go down 20. Unlike PXD today, which reported earnings tonight, matter of fact. And they had a mixed earnings report. I was kind of disappointed. But it is what it is. It closed at $222.48, but in after hours, it's down $5.53, minus 2.49%. At $216.95, basically $217. The reason why it was mixed is they beat on the earnings per share. The guidance was $4.96, but they actually did $5.21. Good deal, outstanding. 25 cents better. But their revenue missed. I don't know exactly what the revenue was, but they missed it by like $440 million. Their cash flow was $938 million. And they also increased the dividend by 14%. You remember the base is $1.10. So they increased it to 14% of $1.10. I'm going to guess that's somewhere around maybe I don't know, $1.15, $1.20, maybe $1.25. I don't know. It's 14% increase over $1.10. So, you know, that's probably 10% of $1.10 is like 11 cents. And it was 14%. So I'm thinking it's probably around $1.25. They didn't actually get a specific number. But they also, and I don't know if this stock is down because of missing the revenue, because I mean they did have earnings per share and their cash flow was incredible, $938 million free cash flow, and they upped the dividend, the base dividend, by 14%, and the special dividend they're doing this year is like $3, and I want to say $3.34, something like that. So yeah, they declared quarterly dividend base plus the variable cash dividend of $3.34 plus whatever it's going to be. I'm thinking it's $1.25, so we'll call it $4.59 will be the total dividend. A little bit down from last time. That's okay. I thought it's a variable dividend, but still, you can get over $5 for a dividend, or right around $5. I'm happy with that. I'm not worried about this thing being down. The reason why I said I don't know if it's down because of mixed earnings or other things, because they also announced that the CEO, Scott Sheffield, he's going to retire, and the COO, his last name is Dealey, D-E-A-L-Y, is going to become the company's next CEO. And it said on my news report, Pioneer Natural fell more than 2% in the extended session after the exploration and production company said that, let's see, it said that its board has named Rich P. Dealey, that's the guy, as the company's chief executive officer. I'm not sure. I can't imagine a stock falling 2% because of a change in CEO. That's not a big deal. This guy's been with the company 30 years. But like I said, I don't know if it's the missed revenue report, but the earnings were good. They increased the dividend. So, and the price to earnings right now is 7.17. So I had no problem with that. I don't have a problem with it. Stay the course. Like I said, I'm in it for the long term. So, I told you I sold some at 231. I guess those few shares turned out to be good to sell those because it's gone down $17 almost since I sold it. Well, not quite. $217, $14 since I sold it. But that's okay. So, there's a lot going on. So, try not to keep you bored. Sorry to bore you with all these numbers and things, but it was important, I thought, to go over 3M, Google, Microsoft, Meta, and Pioneer Natural Resources, which is PXD. So, and to give you, and there was so much negative sentiment on the market. If it hadn't been for Microsoft, it would have been a terrible day. It would have been really bad. And Google didn't do bad either. I mean, they were down, but most of the time they were up for the day. But that FRC bank, that's all people are talking about. Deposit inflow and outflow. I'm sick of hearing about deposit inflow, outflow. The earnings should make sense, but FRC has all kinds of problems. Not just, they beat the house, one that beat the earnings and beat the revenue, but yet the stock's down 60% in 2 days. It was like $140 at the beginning of the year. Now what is it right now? Let's see what it is. I know it's not very expensive. It's about to go under. So if you see that, don't be surprised. All right, it's $5.69. And it was not that long ago. Year to date, it was $143.18 on February the 1st. So we go from $143.18 down to $5.70. Wow. Don't buy that stock. Please don't buy that stock. Oh, me. But we'll see what happens. They want these banks to bail FRC out, and I don't think the banks are going to do it because they're not going to pay a premium for a loan, and it's going to cost them more than what the loan's worth. Why would you do that? That's bad business, in my opinion. Let the FDIC take it over. But they're trying to work on it. The government, the Fed, and the banks, they're all working together to see if they can come up with maybe like one bank buys some of the assets, another bank buys something else, another bank do this, another bank do that to save it. If you can't manage your company, and I'm talking about FRC, and this is my opinion, it's not very good management. If you got all your stuff tied up in mortgage loans that are for 30 years and the interest rate at the time they got these loans was 1% or 2%. Mine's 4.25, but I don't know, I have like 6 months left to pay on this house, so that's fine. For 4.25 is a good rate right now. It's kind of high in the last few years, but at the time when I got the house, 4.25 was good. But they probably got these 30-year mortgage loans at 2.5%, 3%, and now the mortgage loans are 5 and 6%, and they can't make any money. I can't help it. So do not buy FRC. I think it's going to go don't like to use the word bankrupt because that's not technically right for banks. It just goes under receivership for the FDIC. Then all the banks have to put in money to the FDIC and they bail them out. That's the way it works. So you guys have a great night. Tomorrow we'll get Amazon after hours. Hopefully that'll be good. And we'll see what the stock market's going to do tomorrow. They had some good earnings tonight. I saw eBay beat their revenues, and a couple more companies I saw coming across the screen that were big companies that all beat their revenues. The only one I saw that actually lost something maybe was Mattel, I think. But we'll see how the market feels about things tomorrow, because they're always starting to talk about there's some numbers coming out in the next couple of days they're going to be looking at, and we got the FMOC meeting that they'll tell us what they're going to do with interest rates Wednesday of next week. So like I said in my last video, this is going to be a frenzy week, and this turned out to be frenzy and turbulent. So stay the course, and we'll see what happens. Again, have a great night. Appreciate you listening. Talk to you soon.